Had you a bare-bodied Bigfoot, best put this beast over the top. What's up, guys? Welcome back. Today I want to take a look at the Hasbro Marvel Universe 3 3/4 scale Beta Ray Bill. As ever, we'll check out the aesthetic, the articulation, the accessories it comes with, and I'll even rock a few comparisons before giving you my final thoughts on the thing. Let's go! Beta Ray Bill is the last of the Corbinites. After encountering Thor outside of Earth's orbit, in a freakish turn of events, he was able to wield Mjolnir. With the powers of Thor, he was able to decimate the entire Asgardian pantheon. So impressed was Odin that he made him a hammer of his own. This figure is pretty frickin' solid. This is a few years into the Marvel Universe 3 3/4 scale line. Nicely detailed cape here. Look at all these little shoulder pads, and it's part of the cape. You know, there's even like a darker little red spray over the top of the cast plastic. It looks as though it's just pegged in the back here, and we'll just discard that for a moment. Tightening up on old Horsehead Nebula here. Look at these little teeth even, and there's gums and stuff painted in there. You just, as things go, it's like figures get better and better, but the detail they put in the paint is always hard to match. That must be one of the more expensive parts of the whole thing, you know. This mouth opens. You don't look too close from certain angles, but that's a fantastic feature there. These nicely detailed wings. His costume is a byproduct of the hammer's ensorcelment when he picked it up. Back in Walt Simonson's Thor 337, back in 1983, making this guy like a year older than me even. Really, really nice detail there. These are sculpted and raised, painted up here. So I believe it's just a reuse of Thor in a lot of ways, but these little jags, these little lightning lines are painted there. Nice horse flesh on the arms here, single jointed elbows, fairly standard here. The glove is just painted on. But this little bracer is a separate piece, stuck over the top of the wrist there. He's got his classic three-fingered look here. Fist on the one side, hand on the other. No swappable hands here. Those were not so common back in these days. But man, he just looks really, really nice. His own variation on Thor's belt. And of course, not just anybody can wield that hammer. So obviously, Bill is good. He's a good dude. Really, really solid dude. I mean, as far as like the whole of the universe is concerned, not that many people can wield that hammer. In fact, in the comics at the time, he was the first one besides Thor himself. More of these little discs down by the crotchal regions. Legs, specially sculpted heavy pieces on the upper and lower thigh here, which is a couple of pieces. Double jointed knees here by the boots. Just super, super comic accurate, too. This thing looks fantastic. Hasbro just can't seem to. We got that more modern rendition, and they act like they're just going to forget about it. But that Marvel Select thing, man. Really nice sculpted details down here. These boots are just kicking. Same with the foot. The little foot looks just like this other foot. Going to have some peg holes on the bottoms. And look, they were hiding all this stuff down here. What's that say? 2011. Great looking figure, really. Keeping him capeless, we'll go ahead and check out the articulation of our Corbinite friend. The head is just up on a ball peg here, so it will rotate all the way around. It's high enough up there to give you a good bit of tilt, too. Looks forward a little bit, up a little bit, but the jaw is articulated on just like a hinge piece, runs straight through here. So, you know, closed, open, those are your options. Great options. It's fine. Shoulders are just pegged in here, hinged. They'll come up this far, rotate all the way around, completely unobstructed there. We have a bicep cut. Single jointed elbow comes up to a 90. Wrists are pegged in and they will rotate, but there is no hinge. Check this out, though. We get a diaphragm cut. Oh, Bill, speak to me. He can't. That's fine. Goes the whole head. So this thing will come side to side a little bit, too. Back a little bit, but that's some pretty great crunch forward on that. Plus you get a waist twist. Look at that. 2 points of torso articulation. We're practically balling out of control here. Thighs are plugged into these pegs, and they don't really come out to the side very far. You can kind of force it, but it's going to pop off of that ball. Not too bad, but sometimes, especially with the smaller scale figures, you push it out and it just kind of reverts back. But it will kick forward all the way, back, part of the way, and we have this lower thigh cut that'll spin all the way around, and a double jointed knee coming back that far, which is pretty good for this bulky thing. And nothing again until we get down to the boot with a hinge coming back like this, forward just a little bit, and as yet there was no rocker. So pretty decent, just missing a couple of little niceties like ankle rocker and, wrist hinge. Let's reassemble your head, friend. The better to shout intense things with. For accessories, Bill features Stormbreaker. What more do you need? This is another Uru hammer just like Mjolnir, commissioned by Odin and forged by the dwarves of Nidavellir. It allows him to fly, to control the weather, and to smash down the heralds of Galactus as he pursued him across the galaxy in an effort to starve him out for the destruction of his people's second homeworld. How dare that guy? Ugh. I'm sorry, Bill. He's been through a lot. He has been through a lot, including the more recent comic book destruction of this hammer. Read some modern Thor comics and Daniel Warren Johnson's Beta Ray Bill miniseries. Rad stuff. He holds the thing in his only open hand here, and he looks pretty convincing. Flip that thing to get this thing rocking in the right direction, then it just looks a little funny though. But what do you do? What do you do? That's the common pitfall of these type of hammers without this being on a little chain or something. He can also, of course, wield the classic Mjolnir. Look at that tiny inscription in there, man. This stuff is great. Right out of those classic comics. Checking the height, the Hasbro Marvel Universe Beta Ray Bill stands about 4 3/8 of an inch, not counting the wings on his hat. For comparison, here he is next to the classic Thor and Captain America. Next to Ulik, the Troll, and Amora, the Enchantress. The Marvel Universe Galactus, and the Silver Surfer. For some MCU representation, we have Odin and Curse. From Jazzwares and Wicked Cool Toys, World of Halo, we have a UNSC Marine, brought his own hammer, and from Mattel's sad attempt to compete with this line, here is the poorly articulated Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern. I think he's also excited about some new movies coming out. A couple of vintage scores from different eras of Toy Biz. We have the Riddler and Blastar. I am a king! And finally, here's the Playmates Toys Mutant Mayhem Leonardo. Check out my review up now. Don't be mad if I call it a kid's toy. I'm just trying to illustrate the difference here. You guys know what I mean. And the collector. My boy Tanalier right here. So I'd say for like a 12-year-old figure, this thing is outstanding. But not even. It's really solid by today's standards. It's even got better paint than a lot of figures today. It's only missing a couple of articulation points that you would want. Wrist hinges, ankle rocker. That one's actually huge. I almost can't live without that. You can't spread the feet beyond just straight up here convincingly without them, looking funny. You can't put them on the ground. You want to be able to swivel those so they're sitting right, especially with all these other kicking points. I mean, you got thigh cuts and double jointed knees. He's got 2 points of torso articulation. I know they didn't all back then, but look at the stuff Hasbro is trying to pull right now. They're taking them out of there, and they got everybody drooling over a classic Luke Cage. But it looks like it's just going to have 1 point at the torso, like that Dr. Octopus, the animated one, that they couldn't even add any extra paint to. It's just the cast plastic colors. What is this nastiness? What is this nastiness? Don't make me go back 30 years. Look at the painted web lines on this otherwise. I mean, this was a great figure in its day-ish. I know all manner of arguments can be made for... You guys see what we're dealing with, but this was $5 30 years ago, and they painted the web lines, man. Don't know why I'm talking about that. No idea. Nowadays they cost something like $1 more billion. But But this dude, I think when he hit, he was like $9. And honestly, you know, every couple of years they'd up the price a little bit. And I think that was probably a better way to go than today's model of like Rude Awakening, one price for 10 years. And then you try to change it and people get mad. Because you changed it twice, like in the same year. What's up with that? What's up with that? Bring some of the love back. I feel like maybe there was a little more love here. This is a really solid figure, though. The articulation is largely great. Like I said, it's missing those couple of key points, but this detail almost can't be beat. Accessories, he just has the Stormbreaker. I would always love more stuff, but what else do you need, man? This is like an entire galaxy contained within this thing. That's pretty freaking epic. Anyway, guys, thanks for taking the time. Check out one of these other videos on the channel, and don't forget about that Kickstarter. I want me like some bare-bodied Bigfoot figures. Let's go!